take another round of questions from this side. We'll start from the front. 2 hands, the white and blue shirts in front. We'll move to the back. That will be your 3rd hand. 4, 5. Yellow dress, black jacket. That will be number 5. So we've covered everyone. You can drop your hand, sir. We've covered that. That will be the first 5. And then we'll move to the back. Okay, let's start with the white shirt.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Luban Robana, Water Infrastructure Consultant.
That consultant does not have a name.
Oh, I like a consulting engineer.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. In the conferences that have been held before, prior to this, what we observed is when master plans come through and strategic plans come through, the main issue with them is making it stick at a local level. Now, what we've observed as we've been practicing and advising local government and provincial government is that we as practitioners will go and advise and we come up with these strategic plans and master plans. And you find that there's a sense of awareness from a political side and there's a sense of awareness from the administrative side. However, the deep entrenchment of political willingness is not there. And I say this in this way. You develop a master plan and you develop a strategic plan that seeks to address water and sanitation issues. And these strategic plans are then brought forward to the whole class to be discussed. And then you find out that 3 months or 6 months down the line, or even 12 months down the line, whatever you've advised and however you've planned it does not get implemented. And that is the major concern that we have from a political side. And then if you look at it now from the consumer side, which is consumer behavioral changes. If you're going to talk about sustainability and we're going to talk about water use efficiency, it must start with the consumer and then work its way back to the planning level. Now, consumer behavior, most people do not understand it, but it's a social-driven exercise, not really a technical exercise. So the consumer behavior is very critical to the sustainability of this solution and also obviously consumer adoption. So the question will be, how do we plan to engage with the consumers at a local level to ensure that the solution sticks? And also, how do we then plan at a political level to make sure that the politicians at those levels are also accountable for driving these interventions?
We got it, Ma. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't pay.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Solomon Kudimela from JNF, Water Sustainability Environmental Center in Mamelodi. Maybe the minister should have come with the Minister of Health here, because my problem here also addresses we have a problem in Mamelodi with wastewater treatment works next to us. Now we have a problem with heat wave, and as you run out of the house to sit outside, then you are confronted with this smell from wastewater treatment works, and then you don't know where to run. And shortly we have learners running from school, overcrowding the clinics because of health problems. So my question is, does the plan also address that?
Thank you very much. Sisi or Koke Topeyer. We'll start with you. Yes.
Thank you, Minister and everyone. My name is Catherine Nyaga from Touch Work Africa. I've been a stakeholder with the Department of Water and Sanitation from 2016. And I've always been raising some issues that if you look at the pie of water consumption in a household in South Africa, the highest is the flushing of the toilet. And I look at the communities who are able, the total community who are able not even to change the systems. The systems are 9 liters. I came up with a product a biodegradable plastic, which actually, which was scientifically evaluated. 2 of them can fit in those old toilets where more than 70 of the population lives. And you put 2 of them, they save 2 liters of water with every flush. And they have a longevity of 4 years, and your water bills per month will go down by 30%. That has been really proven. And as much as it's been very difficult to penetrate, like my brother is talking about in Mamelodi and other townships and communities who cannot afford. Today, we take water almost at $1. How many people are living below $1? Just to quicken you on statistics, here we are about probably plus or minus 2,000 people here, and we have been taking water. If we use the bathrooms now, if they had the product, we would save 4,000 liters of water immediately. And this information is all around the Global Economic Forum, World Health Organization, Statistics South Africa. We really have been working on this. But I can give you a staggering figure where the total population would save 1.3 trillion of water without plumbing, just putting the product in the systems. So let's pick the hanging fruits first. Yes.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah.
We will definitely pick the low fruits, the low-hanging fruits. But immediately after this, maybe we can have a little bit of a discussion with you because we're very much interested in water conservation. And also, you're talking water conservation right now. So we'll have a little discussion about it. I can see you're passionate about it. Please leave your details as well behind. Can I ask the gentleman sitting next to you to be short, brief, straight to the point? We have agreed. Nobody has contested the rules of engagement. That will be straight to the point. We'll raise the issue, we'll make the recommendation, then we move on. We're running out of time. We still need to take more hands. Sir.
Thank you, DG. Appreciation for the master plan presentation by the minister. My name is El Ramay, Executive Mayor of Sekhukhune Municipality. I'm not sure whether the master plan is going to be dealing with the issues of silting of dams. What is going to be a program for desilting? Because in our municipality we've got quite a few of dams that are silting, and the carrying capacity of those dams have almost reduced by 50%. And given that out, we think if there will be a program like that, that will assist in that area. But the other one is whether, Minister, is there going to be a possibility of redetermining the provincial borders. In this instance, we have got many types of catchments. The Rock Dam, that is fed by the Port River, and you've got Olifants River that cuts across the southern part and northwestern part of Sekhukhune. But in terms of management, they are demarcated in Mpumalanga. Now the turnaround time in terms of the service that we would expect is not like when we are serviced by Limpopo in terms of other services. Then my third point is in terms of how we're going to deal with issues of parallel training. For instance, 50% of people of Sekhukhune, through what we call the neighbor party, I'm sure you know it, are having their hopes on the Rock Dam as a solution to the water crisis. But then, when I'm talking about parallel planning, if you take the mid-term period, or even our assessment is that for people of Sekhukhune to have water, wall to wall, it will mean that will go beyond 2030 vision, may go up to 2035. And people are impatient now. That will be too long for the people of Sekhukhune to wait in order to be able to get water. Even that RDP standard. Now, is there a possibility in the master plan? And that will not only be in Sekhukhune. For the department, for instance, to be able to identify strategic points where the department can bring raw water, given the resources that the municipality has. In terms of parallel planning, how does the master plan address the issues of water service authorities or Water Service Act and Water Act, where we could plan together so that we could be able to deliver services quickly to people?
Thank you so much. My name is Vuyo Masati. I'm the president of the African Farmers Association of South Africa, AFASA. Minister, we are very happy with the master plan. But Minister, we started as AFASA working with the department when we outraged that 98% of the water licenses are sitting with white owners. And it has been something that we've been sort of pushing against. And also, we are concerned about the support and the process. I mean, we're happy with the process in terms of 3 years, moving to 49 days. We're still concerned about issues of boreholes and the process, because to get a borehole, you need to come up with a feasibility study in order to submit for you as a farmer to the department. To get that feasibility study, you have to get quotes. It can cost you 50,000 rand and more just to get, that feasibility study that you submit to the department. And who has done this? Minister, also, we're dealing with the issue of irrigation schemes. I didn't hear you in your master plan talking about the irrigation scheme. We really would like, the National Development Plan refers to the issue of the revitalization, particularly of the former homeland irrigation scheme. We would like more work focused. I would have liked to hear more about what you say. We have with the plans. And lastly, I am an agro-processor in Butterworth. I own a wool processor with a vertically integrated processing plant at Ibiga in Butterworth. It is a village, it is an industrial farm. Minister, I am so affected as an entrepreneur, but most importantly, we are affected as a company and the workers. Minister, yesterday, it is a toy now, my workers have not been working. Minister, women who are mostly women and youth who work in my factory have been raped, sexually harassed, looking for water. I have come up with a plan, Minister, in my factory. My workers come with wheelbarrows, with containers, which they get from the water, which I purchase in order to get my factory going. We have a situation where we, even in the bathrooms when the workers come, have to bath at the factory because they have not managed to bath and they have to take water home in order to cook for their families. So, as an entrepreneur in a rural environment where we are trying so hard revive the rural economies, and having to struggle so much in a competitive environment to export some of the product. I'm the first indigenous Kashmir from indigenous coast of South Africa, particularly the Eastern Cape, that exports overseas. But I cannot compete with the kind of situation that I'm exposed to. So, Minister, the issues of black farmers, black entrepreneurs, rural communities, as far as water is concerned, are big. And Butterworth should be used as a case to particularly deal with what you are talking about on the Amatola board and the relationship with the municipality and the lack of capacity. And really, honestly, it's high time.
You can switch off your mic, Dr. Mahlati. Okay. Okay. Dr. Mahlati is the chairperson of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Land Reform. Well, she has completed her work and handed it over to government. One of the things that have been raised very sharply in that report is this issue of water licensing, especially the skewness around the racial composition and the ownership of the licenses themselves. I think the committee has raised this issue very sharply, but also the turnaround time in dealing with the matter, it's been raised very sharply in the report. In fact, we responded to most of the issues that we have raised in the IMC. But I guess I can't divulge our response at this stage because it still has to go to cabinet. I think the issue of Butterworth, the minister will talk to it as well. She was in Butterworth last night. She left Butterworth, my memory says we were this morning, around 1 o'clock this morning. So I will leave that part to the minister to deal with it. She's on top of it. Can we move to the back? We've taken 5 hands already, and we'll take another 4. We'll go to the back. Let's start right at the back, right at the top. The gentleman there at the back, and then the lady sitting next to you.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I apologize for my poor English. I come from the DRC where we speak French, but I'll try my best to express myself. I've been in a project from the private sector. I'm an engineer architect, and the first time I came to South Africa for that project was in 1985, where the drought was not as bad as it is now. But I had a project where I proposed the authorities in Congo to commercialize the 45,000 cubic meter we are throwing in the ocean. At this point in time, I think my project has matured, and I've been traveling to meet authorities in countries where they will be interesting to sit with us and talk about it. So I'd like to meet the minister to see how far we can sit and see how we can provide you with proper water in the next years coming. If it's possible, I will be happy to discuss about it deeply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, the next speaker will be our last speaker. We're running out of time. The last 4 speakers didn't help me to manage the time. So we'll take the last speaker, and we still have to address the media, and they have serious timelines to adhere to. So I'll take the last speaker, and if there's any follow-up, feel free to interact with the advisors, with the DG, and with the senior managers in the department. They are here. They're not going anywhere. So I'll take the last speaker, and we'll close it.
Thank you. It's Christine Colvin from World Wildlife Fund for Nature, South Africa. My solution is a little bit closer to home and speaks specifically to the plans for the Umsindlulu catchment. Minister, you talked about the dam that was conceptualized there in the 1950s. And given that we have such a world-leading research community here, and that this sector is absolutely ready for the green, the blue, and the brown revolution, We really invite you to look again at the viability of those plans and explore what is actually the most appropriate infrastructure to deliver basic services in that area. We've been working with partners, including Nedbank actually, and through the BRAIN and through the First Jobs program, looking at community-built solutions around perennial spring protection that are delivering results within a couple of weeks of clean, safe drinking water to very deep, rural, isolated communities there. And I think that given the huge leaps in technology and governance that have happened in the intervening decades since the 1950s, some of these infrastructure plans are long overdue.
We played now before last time respond to the question start with the rainwater. Thank you very much. I'm now going to ask Minister to lead us in responding to the questions, and I'll ask the advisors as well to assist in responding to the questions.
Thank you very much, DG. Ladies and gentlemen, this has gone much better than we had expected. You know, when you're putting together a master plan, you've got to work out what is it that you leave out of the ideas that are in front of you, and what is it that you put into a document like this. But what has come out now is something that we have been consulting on, to say we would be very grateful if you've got any suggestions, please to send them to us. If you turn over, have you got the master plan? No. Oh, so sorry. It should have been distributed to you. Just behind, at the back of the master plan is our telephone number and our everything you need to know. So we would like you, if you've got any suggestions, please send them to us. By the time that we compile, we produce this, which is a composite master plan, it will include some of the suggestions that come from you, and we will unveil it at my budget speech next year. So we will then also be able to include the names of those people who contributed to making sure that we have the best plan possible. So please make sure you send your suggestions to us, so we can, if they're not captured in the document. Thank you to the gentleman from the DRC. We have already started the interaction to try and get some more water, and we had tried to find a way of getting these from the DRC. I'd started discussions with the ambassador, but if you are here and a partner to us, we would very much welcome your partnering with us, so that we can get started on making sure that we have access to this. We share borders with several countries that we share waters with. We would like to extend it up to the DRC. Thank you for the offer. Green shoots, I will be there. You invite me, green shoots, and I will be there. I am footloose. Anywhere I'm invited, I go there. To the Dr. Mahlasi, I understand the problem that you're dealing with, because I was in Butterworth yesterday. And the issue of gender-based violence and how it manifests itself, especially in areas which are poverty-stricken and don't even have access to water and have to go to the river to get water. It has become a serious, serious problem. I think that our society needs to think around why it is that we've become the kind of society we are, where women are so easily violated. And perhaps just have a declaration around that matter, because we in the Social Transformation Committee of the ANC call this femicide. I mean, what is happening, I mean, they not only rape women, they go ahead and decide, well, let's just kill them. And it is not acceptable. But anyway, it did deviate a bit from this. I am very willing to be involved in your discussions around empowering black agriculturalists, and I'd like you to invite me to your Kashmir wool factory, and I am very susceptible to going through the stuff that you produce, so I will be there. I can see a number of women want to join me. So all those ladies who want to come to this Indaba Dr. Mahlati will convene it, and we will be able to discuss these in detail. I had very interesting discussions with Agri-SA. They're a very organized group of people, and we are able therefore to interact with them so much easier. We would like you to invite us to Black Farmers Association and make sure that we can give them the kind of empowerment that they need. We are passionate about that. So you and I have an appointment, and we will be able to live up to that. Any of the other women here who are there for the Kashmir will get it at cost price in I think Lunga, what do we do about non-compliance? It's a big problem. It's a big problem, and therefore what we're doing is starting with ourselves. What are we doing to restructure the department to make sure that it is a kind of department that is able to deliver, is accountable, and therefore also able to follow through its compliance with its own rules and regulation? And if you've got any ideas you want to share with us about what do we do about compliance beyond just providing this, the answer that we had in mind was the reconvolution of the relationship between the municipalities and ourselves. And if there is an intermediary like the province, it will be so much easier to measure compliance, because when you give money, you require that that money should be accounted for. And this would be our green book to make sure that there is compliance at every stage in the value chain. But any more suggestions from where you are, we would be very happy to take your advice. Solomon from the something school. Yeah, okay. The Minister of Health would very happily have come. Unfortunately for me, there are two things that would have stood in his way. One is we have a 3-line whip in Parliament. 3-line whip means that most of us have to be there, because we are passing the midterm budget vote. And if we don't pass that, then it means that most of the money that we are banking on to deliver on this plan would not be available. So most ministers are in Cape Town to make sure that they vote the right way. And also on the other hand, he is so busy now with his own NHI that we would have to wait for him until the final processes. He's on a roadshow on NHI, and when he's done with that, we would be able to make sure that he will come to you if you invite him. Come to you and discuss these matters of the health hazards of what comes out of our polluted waters. I'd like to, Sikukuni, we've been waiting for a very long time for DWOP. What we're doing is putting in interim measures in every place where we have dams, because dams, we have discovered, take a long time. It takes a long time planning, it takes a long time building. In the meantime, what we do is provide interim measures. We will provide interim boreholes if, in fact, the assessment that you have is that we should provide those particular boreholes. It is necessary. It is part of our plan, and you'll find it in the master plan. Trevor, do you want to come and close the matter? I think we'd like to thank you, because we've taken enough of your time for being here and assisting us through our master plan. And we hope that you will continue when you get your. Can you give out the documents? Okay, when you leave, you will get a document, and at the back of the document, you will find all the details that you need that would enable you to get in touch with us, so that we are able to not only write your name as a contributor, but also make sure that we follow through and make the best of this master plan that we can. Thank you very much for your attendance for today.
Another big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Minister Sisulu. I'm now going to ask Trevor to give us a vote of thanks.
Well, mine is the easier job. and that's to express a vote of thanks. And I must, I'll do a vote. I'll thank first the person who's just vacated the podium, thinking that his job has just been done. Just to remind him, his job has just started in terms of the implementation of the master plan. So while you might have vacated the podium, there's still a lot to do. But Mbulela, thank you for handling the proceedings so efficiently. I'd also like to thank Minister for the time she spent this morning in addressing us. What none of you will really be aware of is the amount of time that was spent behind the scenes with Minister preparing for today, bringing Minister up to speed with the water sector and what needs to be done. And I think we need to take heed of what Minister indicated about the DNA, that DNA to react and intervene timeously. And one hopes that with the implementation of the master plan, we will also be able to react timeously to some of those critical hotspots across the country. In absentia, I'd like to also thank Minister Patricia de Lille for the words she gave us this morning, the Chair of Rand Water Board, Advocate Hashatse, also for their inputs, also to Desigan Naidu in terms of the inputs on the RDI. Just in terms of bringing it to a close, events like this don't happen without the hard work of many people behind the scene. They remain quite nameless, but they happen to get the event to happen. And I would like to just express our appreciation, my personal appreciation. I'm sure I speak on behalf of the Minister and everyone else who's here for the having brought this event to the point that it is today. Also to the media for attending here today, and we also look forward to the engagement with the media immediately after I've moved away from the podium. And then of course the exhibitors who have given up of their time to exhibit some of the products that are available, some of the facilities, some of the technology that's available. And I would encourage you all to just go to the, when you head out of this venue, just turn right and go into the area and give those exhibitors some of your time as well, and have a look at the technology that they have presented to us. Thank you all for coming. Ministers, mayors, HODs, international development partners, anyone and everyone is here today. Thank you for making the success it has been. Without you being here, we obviously don't have an event. Thank you very much. The hard work is to come. And if I could just touch on your consciences. I'm sure that all of you, when you came in this morning, I've done it before, but all of you, most of you who came in here this morning, opened the tap before you left home and you had water. You had water to shower, you had water to bath, whatever you do before you come to work. After you've had breakfast, maybe you also used the facilities and flushed whatever you had away. What we need to do going out here today is just remember those 3 million people who don't have access to water every day as we have it, and also to the 14.1 million people who don't have access to the same level of sanitation we might have enjoyed today. Now, there are many other issues one can raise which have been touched on in the master plan, but if you go out and every day just think of the task we have ahead of us to make sure that those folk can enjoy the facilities we did this morning and will enjoy tomorrow morning and every other morning as well. Thank you very much.